had 2 spinal fractures in my low back, and I had 2 herniated discs. I think one was bulging, one was herniated, and then practitioners had told me there would be certain exercises I wouldn't be able to do again, deadlifts being one of them.
Courtney had been dealing with on and off back pain for close to 6 years, with her most recent flare-up lasting 7 months before I saw her.
I couldn't walk great without a limp. I couldn't bend over without excruciating pain, so I couldn't put my socks on, couldn't get dressed well. I came in here probably at an 8 out of 10, so that's how bad it was.
Today I'm going to take you through her evaluation and her rehab plan that allowed her to get back to eventually hitting a new PR deadlift without any pain.
No pain at all? There you go. And that's the first time you've ever deadlifted 200 pounds?
As you watch her evaluation, watch how I fit her symptoms into a movement diagnosis. I started by watching her squat. You can see a small shift to her left side, but noted no pain with just the barbell. Next, I had her perform an RDL with a small kettlebell, and she noticed pain in her low back, left glute, and a small amount of numbness into her left foot that worsened as she bent forward and got better, diminished as she got back into an extended position. Next, I had her perform a load test I first learned from Dr. Stuart McGill.
Pain?
Yeah.
0 to 10.
5.
Okay.
4 or 5.
Stiffen your core. So again, pushing out. Okay. Now raise. Different?
Yeah.
Better?
Yeah.
That was better.
Yeah, no pain.
When someone has a disc injury like this model is mimicking right here, you'll see that there's a little bit of instability right there. A disc injury automatically decreases the stiffness that area, that joint segment has. And when you apply a load to the body, you're going to see a little micro movement occurring at that particular segment, which was generating pain. Now, when she stiffened her core, she was using all the muscles that surround that area to pull the spine into a good position and add a little bit of compression, which then when we reloaded by lifting the weight, there was stiffness that added compression and limited those once painful micro movements. She then had no pain with this extension with rotation test on either leg. So far these tests are showing that her symptoms are triggered with load and flexion motions and torques on her low back. I then performed a prone instability test.
Okay, I'm going to push on your back in a couple positions. I want you to let me know if I can recreate that pain.
That one, that's where I feel it shooting in my foot.
So this right here recreates symptoms all the way down into your foot.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want you to do is lift your feet just a little bit off the ground. Okay? Does that feel different?
Yeah.
Less symptoms into the foot.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Back down.
This test showed that muscle activation from lifting the legs created stability, which then decreased micro movements of shear load on her low back and therefore helped with pain. This means stability work will be key for her rehab. Now, a proper evaluation must also look at the hips, as there is many times a direct connection between the two areas. When assessing her hip internal rotation, I found she had a lot of rotation on her right side, but limited mobility on her left side comparatively. When assessing her Faber test, I also found limited mobility where her right side could drop more compared to the left side, as you can see here. Now comes the retest part of the evaluation. I had her perform the assisted hip airplane, opening the hip with these cues.
Down. Okay, now from here, open that pelvis as far as you can. Don't let your knee cave in. So slight bend in this knee. Very good. Do you feel a light stretch in your groin?
Yes.
Good. 5-second hold. And then drop the pelvis.
We then did the same hip airplane but closed the hip until she felt a good stretch in her lateral glutes to help with the limited hip internal rotation. We then did 6 reps for 5 seconds hold. Upon retesting, you can see good improvements in hip mobility compared to before in both internal rotation and with the Faber test. We also then retested the RDO movement that was painful from before.
It's better. It's a lot better.
This shows that there was a direct connection between her limited hip mobility and how load was being tolerated on the back. So to wrap up our evaluation, we can classify Courtney's low back pain as a load and flexion intolerance with associated hip mobility restrictions and nerve involvement. This understanding will lead us directly to what needs to be done during rehab and outside of rehab. This allows us to wind down symptoms, whereas knowing someone has fractures and or bulging discs does not. It only shows us what tissues may or may not be at fault in generating pain. So let's now talk about treatment. I want to talk about what we did day 1 and then our progression for the next couple weeks. We started off our treatment with the McGill Big 3, a combination of 3 core stability exercises of the modified curl up, side plank, and bird dog that aim to stabilize the spine from all angles, like tightening guy wires that hold up a radio tower. Listen in to some of the cues on her bird dog.
What you're going to do in this position is, again, stiffen your core like crazy, push out against my fingers. Now from here, you're going to brace as hard as you can, and then opposite arm, opposite leg, extend out, okay? Keep this foot down a little bit lower. Very good. Make a fist. You're going to try to create as much tension as you can in this X-like pattern all the way down. Hold that for 10 seconds, and then you're going to maintain this position as you sweep underneath, touch your knee to your fist, but don't let this move.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 seconds. Keep this tight. Now touch your fist to your knee. Slowly under, tap, and back out. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Often people, especially people who have flexion intolerance movement, when they come under, they will let their back move.
Yeah.
If you do that, especially on your left side,
Yeah.
it may recreate some symptoms.
Yeah.
Try that on your left side, and I want to show you the difference. Okay, so do one where this leg extends and this arm goes out. Okay, now as you come under, let your back round. Let's see what it feels like if you do one incorrectly. So let this round under. Do you feel pain?
Yeah.
It feels like it radiates down.
Well, I mean, it stops at my glute, but
It stops, so it recreates pain down here.
Yes.
Now, do the exact same thing. So right here, kick this heel back, fist. Now, this time, as you come under, keep this brace and do not let this move. Okay, keep this completely flat. Slow, 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 tap, and then back out. Is that different?
Yeah.
No pain at all.
Yeah, no.
So again, that shows you right there. The movement of flexion creates pain. The reason we're doing the bird dog is to teach you how to maintain that spinal position in that neutral position and move about your hips,
Yeah,
which is
I've done those.
everything that you do, right? Most people do bird dogs, but
Yeah, I know I did them wrong forever.
exactly,
Yeah.
most people do them incorrectly. If doing a bird dog correctly, you should be very fatigued once you're done.
Yeah, that's
And this has
super
direct carryover to doing what? Moving, bending over.
Yeah.
How you do this makes everything different.
Yes.
I want 5 for 10 seconds on each side.
Now that we had cleared up hip mobility restrictions and started to enhance core stability, it was time to focus on her nerve pain. Because she had pain that radiated down her leg and numbness in her foot, we included some nerve sliders to help desensitize the pain.
So the nerves that you have start in the spine and run all the way down the legs. And right now, they are just getting tension too much and getting irritated, especially when you create flexion movement at the spine. So what we're going to do is a nerve floss. This exercise can be very, very helpful for decreasing the sensitivity of nerves. Too much of a good thing can sometimes be a bad thing, so we're not going to do a crazy amount. We're just going to start off with 15 today. Okay, now what happens is you are going to go down with the head and pull the leg under, okay? And then you're going to kick up and look up at the same time. I want you to go slow and think about it like this. You've got that rubber band of a nerve. I want you to just move it slowly. If you go cranking into the end ranges, you're going to feel it. So just move within the sensation. That's okay. You may feel a slight amount, okay? But we're just going to go slow, and I want you to do 15 of these. What you may feel is that as you go, you'll see less and less sensation in that glute. That's what we're going for. Okay? Slow up. Good.
Last, we discussed how to move differently during the day to help avoid her triggers of flexion intolerance. This part is extremely important, as we could do all the core work and rehab exercises we want, but if she continued to push into her triggers the other 99% of the day, her pain would likely not improve.
Now, the last thing we're going to talk about today is ways in which you can modify things that you would do throughout the day. Because you can't just stop bending forward, right? It's very difficult. But what we know is that if you were to bend over to grab something this low, it would create pain, right? So what I want to do is we're going to mimic this. So I want you to bend forward as if this was something at your gym that you would have to pick up. Just do it your normal way of bending forward and grabbing and picking up. I want to rate your pain, and then we're going to change it up. How we do that?
So
you were to just bend forward, you'd usually just hinge, right?
Yeah, I'd usually just do this.
Okay, and then pick it up. Okay, do you feel pain with that?
Yeah.
Slight amount, 0 to 10?
Like 3 to 4.
3 to 4. Okay, come back down. So push into your thigh and just push, push, push. Go as low as you can. Good, feel good?
Yep.
Okay, then come back up. Brace hard. Push into your hands, into your thighs. Down, okay, keep this hand pushing hard. Grab the weight, keep this hand pushing into your thigh as you come back up.
Like almost no pain.
Almost no pain.
Yeah.
There you go. Again, okay, it's a process, but this is showing you how you can modify things throughout your day to help wind down symptoms.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the exercises you do, they're great,
Yeah.
but if you don't change how you're moving throughout your day, the symptoms stay there. Does that make sense? There you go, and then squat it down. So here's what I want. Throughout your day, ideally I would have you kneel as much as possible. Okay, because that's a lot of effort to do that. Okay, so if you can, you're just gonna kneel and pick stuff up. And you're gonna keep it close to your body because we know weights far away trigger your pain. But if you need to hinge, I want you to practice that.
Eventually, we got back to the barbell to rework her deadlift, but we started from the pin rather than loading a lot of flexion torque early on.
You're so flexion intolerant right now, I don't even want to start down there. So we're gonna start from the blocks and then work our way down. So I want you to get close to it. It'll be roughly mid-thigh for you because you're a little bit smaller than I am, but we're not too high. Okay, I want you to get into your normal pulling position. And basically in this position, what I'm focusing on is first I'm gripping the ground with my feet. I'm creating external rotation torque, right? So I'm opening my hips up a little bit. In doing so, I can feel my glutes sort of turn on, okay? I'm getting my arms nice and long, locked out, right? And gripping the bar really hard and pulling it close. That's gonna turn my lats on. The arms are basically like steel pipes going down, okay? So they're not loose, they're nice and long, okay? Then from here, what I want you to do is you're gonna take your breath, you're gonna stiffen throughout your entire body, okay? Get as tight as possible, like this is 1,000 pounds you're gonna lift. And then from there, stand up, okay? Take another breath and tighten. Slowly lower back down, and then you can stand back up, okay? So it's the idea of building tremendous tension and then standing up. But it starts from the feet all the way up, okay? So nice and strong. Big breath, brace, then start your pull. Slow down, keep the brace, good. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
No pain at all?
No.
Very good.
We continued to progressively load in this pain-free range for the next few weeks until eventually including an offset RDL. Having the weight offset increases demand on creating sufficient core stability, making this very lightweight exercise extremely difficult if you don't brace enough and control your body. Just to keep the bar level and your body balanced, you have to enhance your connection from your hands all the way through your lats and tie them into a braced core. Another way of thinking about this drill is that it enhances your neural drive, allowing you to unleash more optimal strength and stability through better movement control. Finally, it was time to work from the ground.
We're going to start just by learning how to create tremendous tension in the bottom of the deadlift. You're not actually going to do the deadlift yet. Okay? So I want you to work on approaching the barbell, gripping the ground with your feet, wiggling yourself into your bottom position. You're then going to take a big breath, stiffen your entire body from your hand all the way down. And you're going to pull up just slightly, okay? Taking the slack out of the barbell. With a bar like this, you're not going to get much bend, but you are going to hear that click against the weight. You hear that? Then you're just going to squeeze as hard as you can. You'll feel your glutes trembling for 5 seconds, and then you're going to relax and stand back up. So we're going to work on how to create that isometric, really, really hard contraction of the lower body before the deadlift begins. Okay, so let's do that. Okay. So slowly coming down to the ground once you feel rooted. Okay, grab the bar, sink your hips down. Okay, big breath and brace, tremendous tension, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as hard as you can. 5 seconds. And then relax. Stand all the way back up. Okay, did you feel your back at all? Did you feel your glutes working hard? Good. During this next one, you are now going to just do that isometric hold for 2 seconds and then lift the bar. So I don't want it to be a full normal tempo deadlift. I want you to still create that tension for 2 seconds and then pull the bar, but slowly. Don't go too fast off the ground. Let's see what that feels like.
Does it feel like it's...
Very good. Good approach. Big breath, embrace. Nice tension. Nice and strong. Bingo. Good. How did that feel?
Fine.
Any pain at all?
Awkward, no.
That's okay. That's okay.
Another higher level drill I added in at this time was a gorilla row. The goal is to maintain stability in the deep hinge position while performing a plyometric row and catch. This drill can easily spark pain in someone with instability and flexion intolerance if used too soon in the rehab process, but Courtney did amazing with it. Our last day of therapy, we tested her capacity on the deadlift, and this is what happened.
Okay, so nice and stiff in the bottom position. Get those hips engaged. You got it. Nice and tight. Big breath. Good job. Big breath again. Control it down. RDO to the knee. Squat it down. 200 pounds. How'd you feel?
Good.
No pain at all? There you go. And that's the first time you've ever deadlifted 200 pounds?
Yeah.
And that's physical therapy still, huh?
Awesome.
Interesting. Great work.
I can do anything now. I'm back to normal, 100% pain-free. I'm PRing on my deadlifts, just deadlifted 200 pounds, haven't done that before, pain-free.
If there's any advice that you would give someone who's been dealing with chronic back pain, and obviously with your experience and like different ways in which you had tried to treat it before versus what worked this time, what would you give those people advice?
Don't take the time to find the right practitioner that fits for you. If you're seeing like a practitioner who's not interested in helping you get PRs or get back to everyday life, they're just doing the same thing and it's not working, obviously you need to seek different help. Find whoever it is, go see them. Don't think that you're done. Like I thought I was done for a really long time. Then I found Aaron, and I like very thankful because I can do everything. Like I'm back to normal. So don't give up. Don't ever think you're done, because you're not. I'm gonna be doing deadlifts till I'm like 80. Hopefully,
I love it.
Fingers crossed.
They say that energy flows where attention goes, so I pay no mind. Why waste my time with all these negative cats scratching? So caught up in their egos, these people have lost.